Welcome, everyone. It's a lovely Friday. It's a lovely Friday. Today's topic, because we're going through this is a long weekend for us. So um, I think this is an important piece to cover the emotional toll of social media and how to deal with it. Because its effects are far reaching. And I don't think we see the bigger picture, right? What happens is we go out and we engage with content, but it doesn't stop there. The type of content you engage with shows you your mental mood, and you act according to your mental mood. When you act according to your mental mood, it either breathes life into you or it siphons life from you. You see, the types of things that we engage with, some of them can look, they can appear to be worthy. They can appear to be worthy. But look at it. Think about the law of polarity when you engage. Well, you think about all of them, but one of those principles will jump out at you, and whichever one resonates the first with you, you're using all seven at the same time. But the one that jumps out at you the most, go there because you're going to do all seven anyway. But if you look at it through the lens of polarity, in order for you to engage with something, it has to get your attention. And it gets your attention by making you feel. Hear me? It gets your attention by making you feel. But you only feel according to your mental mood. So, what are you partaking in? If you look at the types of things that come up in your feed, it will show you your mental mood. When you see your feed, it will show you your mental mood. I just heard about this program, and what it does, it recognizes you by the things that you choose. It sets up, it follows your pattern, your habits, your rhythm, and it watches, and it, some say it predicts, but you already know how it predicts. It predicts by way of your mental mood, your what? Habitual mental mood. This is how it predicts. You do something, something happens. And then it causes you to do something else, and something else happens. And because you consistently and habitually and persistently choose that thing, well, you can be easily swayed. Do you see what's happening? But you have to understand that the laws are being used. The laws are being used. So what ends up happening is when you look at your feed, if the predominant thing in your feed is always the you're fighting for something, your your Justice League, chances are there's been some kind of injustice in your own life that causes you to remain in that state. What state? Victimhood. That's why you remain there. And it is under the disguise of fighting for someone or something. It really is. And by the end of the week, you find yourself to be exhausted, but you just can't figure out why you are exhausted. You're exhausted because what you are partaking of does not actually feed you, but it siphons from you. So it's not that you need a social media fast per se. Recognize that we all have developed a habit. Because why? It is our nature to have habits. Think about what we do. We pick up the phone, we put it down. We pick it up, we put it down. We do the same thing, the same way every time. Based upon what? The stimulus. The stimulus. Oh, Jesus, give me strength. Boy, have mercy. I see your stimulus this morning. Come. Oh, I see your stimulus. Shh. Come, my beautiful daddy. Let's go. Come. Come, my beautiful. Come. Let's get your stimulus put somewhere else. Come. I've got you. I've got you, my handsome. Lord. And he was asleep, So, how we deal with it is to recognize what is happening. Before social media, we didn't have that particular problem. We didn't have that particular problem, but you see, we can't remember that far back. You see? So what do? First, you recognize that you are doing something. You're going there. That's the first step. Recognize that that's what you're doing. It is law to be deliberate. There's nothing right or wrong or good or bad about social media. Because you can get on there and you can strictly work and be engrossed in your work. You sure can. So I'm not saying it's either right or wrong, good or bad. I'm saying check yourself. Because too many times we allow ourselves to become engrossed or embroiled in things. But those things happen because mood. So what do you have to check first? Your mental mood. What frame of mind are you in? Because that is the determining factor whether or not you pick up your device and how long you engage for. You see, it's not that you want to live a restrictive life. You want to live a deliberate one. Because if you find that you are constantly engaged in some kind of argumentative activity, the keyboard warrior, you've been polarized. And because you've been polarized, the way that you behave under that mental mood can now be used for or against you. This is what happens when we unwittingly live life. We all do it, don't worry. Every single one of us. We all do it. So when you get on social media, why are you there? Why? As long as you know that. You're there. I know some of you, you faithfully show up every morning, 7:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. You know why you're here. And here's the thing. If you pay attention to what you partake in, you will begin to recognize if it feeds you or if it siphons from you, meaning it leaves you tired and worn out at the end. Well, then it took from you and gave you nothing in return. If we live a life that says mutually beneficial, that would help us a lot. You give something, but you get something equally as beneficial back. You see, this is the beauty of what living deliberately helps us to accomplish. So as we go through the weekend, the long weekend, pay attention. And when I say to you that you already have the capacity to pay attention, you have the capacity to focus, I'm being very real. Because look at how we focus on social media already. You see what happened and why it is so, what's the word? I want to say virulent. The reason it is because of the nature of man. You see, if you were forced to use it, you'd be hard pressed to obey. But if you are coerced or enticed or lured, now the curiosity is aroused and you act upon the arousal. You go and you check it out. That is the nature of man. Learn your nature, comprehend your nature, so that you can be the one to use your nature to the best of your abilities. Humanity was always going to become addicted to any device you give it, because we have to pick it up and put it down over and over and over again. But look at the progression. Now we don't want to put it down. So what's the next thing? Always be connected to it. Do you think these things just coincidentally emerge? No, they follow the nature of man. And when you know the nature of man, you can exploit the nature of man. So you see what we've become. Mentally, what we've become. That now we have to act it out physically. There are already some people in the world who use just the pass of their wrist to open up doors now. You see, I had brought this up a little while ago and I said, if you ask yourself a question, you will get an answer. If you say, what's the name of that song? If you say, show me my keys, you'll get the response. But what happens When you delegate that task outside of yourself, you now become slave to the thing you've given your power to. So, if you can hear what I'm saying to you this morning, the law is there to assist you also in remaining sovereign in your mind. Because that is what you're supposed to be, sovereign in your mind. Meaning you are the one who is thinking deliberately, not just thinking on autopilot. You are thinking deliberately. And when you discover the thing you want to think about, you set it as a habit so that you will always think in that fashion because you like the way it helps you to function. That's the design. That's what humanity longs to do. But we relinquish what we are. We relinquish our power because here is the thing. You know that little scripture that says, no man can take my life from me, but I have to lay it down? I lay it down on my own volition. That's how powerful you are. And it's interesting because no one can take your power from you. No one can take your power from you. But you can be convinced that A, you don't have any, or you can be convinced to lay your power down. You see? So what does that have to do with the law and how I live my life deliberately? Recognize why you make the choice that you do. You make the choice that you do based upon the mental state. If you do not recognize your mental state, look at the contents of your life. Look at your behavior, and you will see your mental mood, your mental state, your mental attitude. When you see it, you have discovered what is ruling your life. I am saying this to you because it is very real for us. It is how and why we bring about the collective manifestations that we see round about us in the world. So you're going through the weekend. What will you be doing? Will you be contributing to your change? Or will you be delaying it? You see, I tend to lean towards the serious side of life, which is probably not always a smart thing. Always was a serious child. But Marjorie yesterday reminded me about the beauty of being childlike in our enthusiasm, in our curiosity, in our zest for living and life itself. So when you practice, what are you practicing? Nobody had to show you how to practice to be on social media. You just did it naturally. You did the same thing. You went to the same app the same way every time. So you practiced your present behavior. So why then, if I say, in order to manifest your ideal life, you must become deliberate so that you can practice thinking and feeling the same way every time? That it's become a problem now. And you say, well, I can't do that. That's too hard. That's a technique. Is it? Was there a technique to social media? No. You know what it was? Curiosity. You wanted to see what it was all about. You wanted to meet people. See? Do you see how easy it is for us to change now? All of us adapted in such a way that we don't even memorize anymore. We don't memorize anymore. I know 3 phone numbers by heart. Well, 4 if you count my childhood phone number. It still is active in Barbados. All other things have been automated and remembered for me. Pay attention to your mental mood, your mental attitude. It will show you who you have become. It will show you exactly who you've become. Have we allowed something to mold and shape us? Or did you deliberately mold and shape yourself? I'm basically telling you this morning, your power is your own. But somehow we have been convinced we are powerless, we are weak, we are nothing. Do you not know the greatness within you? That's what I'm trying to convey to you this morning. Allow your curiosity to be aroused to discover that. Who am I? That's the whole point. It's very interesting, this whole quote unquote phenomena. But if you really watch it through the lens of the law, you will see that it is not a phenomena at all. It was just the natural progression of things based upon the choice that humanity makes as a collective. But we only make collective choices because we've made an individual choice. Take the time to pay attention to your mental attitude, because somebody is. And then you become, quote unquote, predictable with your rhythm. So it is either you will become aware of what you are doing, or someone else will see what you're doing and use it to their advantage. Why? Because you're not using it. You're not using it. So this morning, take your time. Enjoy living. Enjoy life itself. Laugh more. Get out more. Listen, I'm the biggest hermit there is. I am. I prefer my own company. It's usually quiet. Right? You learn so much from being in the silence. You genuinely do. But sometimes we can become afraid of that silence because we don't know what the silence is. But look around you. You've learned to do everything else, even when you did not know what it was. So you can also learn how to immerse yourself in that silent space where you can become invigorated. There's so much energy to be had there to fill you up if you're tired. But it also helps you to rest. But we've got to take the initiative and become deliberate to say, I will go this place at this time. And when I am done, I'm done. Until the next time. That's what helps us to become deliberate and focused. Because if you think about it, what's been done? We are always looking for the next big thing, whether that's a star or a celebrity or the next big money-making scheme. We're always looking for the next big thing because it is our nature to expand. It is our nature to expand. So we're always moving from where we are to where we want to be. So if you can see it, you don't, quote unquote, avoid, you recognize it for what it is. It does serve a purpose. Without it, I would not have met any of you. We can Romans 8:28 anything. All things work together for good. Right? We can Romans 8:28 anything. But always remember who and what you are and what you're doing and why you're doing it and what is compelling you to do it. This is no longer the time to live blindly. If you want a situation to change, you are the determining factor. And it is rather scary or intimidating to be the one person who is solely responsible for your accountability. Oh yes, it can be quite distressing because you can't point the finger at anybody and tell them you're to blame. You can't. So I understand how that can be nerve-wracking. I get it. I know that it can be nerve-wracking to be the only one who can mold and shape your existence. It's always going to be you. It is. So we start by observation. What are you doing? And what is that mental mood that compels you to do it? If you do not want to be in a present mood, naturally, if you watch yourself, you'll see that you do something to make your mood better. You naturally do that. You would naturally hum. You'd sing your favorite tune. You'd go for a walk. You would do many things to help you to lift your mood. Now, once you've lifted the mood and you've ascended to a higher mental state, how long can you stay there? How many times a day can you remain in that state, that mental mood? That's the key. Your focus, your attention. Because when you stay in the mental mood, you are now compelled to act according to that new mental mood. So the thing that formerly hurt you from the old state, see? The thing that hurt you previously only did so because of the mental state that you were occupying at the time. So naturally, we want to feel better. So do the thing that makes you feel best. How do you know which one to do? If you do it and the guilt kicks in, yikes. Now you're in a state of guilt. That's how you choose. You choose the one that gives you life, not siphons life from you. So when you look at social media and you go out there and you partake of things, does it give you life? Or does it siphon your life from you? Does it make you feel tired? Does it make you feel sad? Does it make you feel angry? We do not have to disengage from living. We don't have to do that. You just have to change your mental attitude, your mental mood. You do something that genuinely you enjoy, that makes you feel better. That's how we do it. We move from one mental state to another. Instead, what do? Fight shadows in the world. Because we think we live by will. No, we live by imagination. How do you think social media, quote unquote, got here? It was an imaginary act. That's where it started, in the mind of a person to say, I have an idea. Let me ... And here we are. We are in somebody's dream. When you do something that you did not deliberately do and bring about, you are unwittingly acting in someone else's dream. Because we all play our role. We all play our roles in life. So this is the encouragement this morning for us. Know why you do what you do, so that you can become more deliberate, because that is your power. In order to become deliberate, it means you have to focus and pay attention on a particular thing for an extended amount of time. That is how we become deliberate. Funny, it is also how we remain unwitting, by giving our focus and attention to something that we did not choose. So what is the common denominator? We are always giving our focus and attention to something. That is the common denominator. Always we are giving our attention and our focus to something. But to be deliberate, you choose the mental state or mental attitude or mental mood that you want to be in, so that you can act from there. You don't have to abandon something. You don't have to throw it away. You don't have to do any of those things. If you say, I want to reduce how much time I want on social media, well, what state would that be? What mental mood would that be? Well, you'd feel free. You'd feel at ease. You'd feel like you had all this time in the world. You'd be excited to meet your friends. That's the mental mood. So maintain the mental mood, meaning get into the mental mood. How many times a day can you get into it? Remember what Neville says, to get ourselves into the mood. Know what you want. Devise a short scene that would imply that you have it. Because now when you do that, you're in that new mental mood. And then you can immobilize the body for a couple of minutes, bringing yourself to the brink of sleep, but not crossing over into sleep. Naturally, that's what happens. If you look at the amount of scrolling you do, what happens? You get lulled, don't you? There's a little bit of drowsiness there. Indeed, your whole brainwave pattern changes. And it changes naturally according to you and what you've chosen. So that's why when you choose, your mental attitude, you will only act according to it. So you don't have to go out and force your change from social media. Just elevate your mood. And the thing that used to drive you to do what you did on social media, it will dissipate that thing that you used to do because you have elevated your mental mood. Now you can only look at certain things or hang out with certain people because of the mental attitude and mood that you're in. So the change always starts within. Because as we heard from last night's lecture, there's no one to change but self. Don't complain about social media. Change your mental mood. If you want more money, don't complain about being broke. Lift your mental mood. How would I feel if I did not have to worry about money? And you begin to entertain all of the ways that you would feel. Can you sustain that throughout the day? How many times can you get into that mood throughout the day? And for how long? And if you remain faithful to it, then the physical evidence has to show itself in the physical world. So whatever that change is, whatever it is, I chose social media this morning because that's the most popular one. We're always online. I wonder what else is online and what uses line. Fishermen, you bait your line. See how you're polarized on a daily basis? The point I'm seeking to drive home is that we become deliberate. Become deliberate, meaning you be the one. You be the one to decide. And the decision you make will show you the mental mood that you reside in. Let us take a brief moment to welcome everyone into the space this morning, shall we? It's my Twitter Shay. Hey, I see you. It's good to see you here on this lovely Friday. Yes, because it's a long weekend. Oh, it's a long weekend. For us, it's Victoria Day, the celebration of the Queen's birthday or whatever. I don't know. It's been around for so long. YouTube and Facebook. Hey, checkmate. Cyber. AM Amani. Ruby, darling. I see your comment, Miss Ruby. Yes. Hello, Jeff. Good to see you. Who's here on Fanbase? Moon. Hey, I am. I missed you. Honey. Malik. Tannen. Simply me. Hey, sweetie. You know I missed you too, hon, because it's been a while.
Good morning, good morning. Yes, I am so blessed to be here. Thank you so much for always a positive space.
Yes. It's been a while. I haven't seen you. It's good to see you. Hey, KZ. Flo Smiles. Joaquin. Miss McQueen. Shea Butter. Oracle Treehouse. Fawn. Thank you all for being here this morning. This lovely Friday. Pay attention to your mental mood. And if you do not know your mental mood, look at your behavior and you will discern what your mental mood is. And if you don't like your mood, well, do what comes naturally. Raise the mood. Raise the mood because that's what you want. You want to feel better. What would it be like if? What would it feel like if? And you begin to entertain those ideas from a higher mental space. And then what happens? How many times can you elevate yourself to that space? How long can you hold yourself in that space? Do the same thing the same way every time. And oh, look, you've developed a habit of doing what? Residing in that mental attitude or mood. That's what we want to do so that we can recognize what we're bringing into the world day in and day out. So it's neither good, bad, nor indifferent. It really isn't. It just is what it is. You can use anything as a tool or you can use anything as a weapon. The mental state of mind will tell you which one you will choose, weapon or tool. See? So take your time, get out, and enjoy the sunshine wherever you are. Live and enjoy it because look at what you possess. You possess the keys to your own freedom. You possess the power to change your world. Now, if that doesn't put a spring in your step, listen, I know it's a little scary. What do you mean I'm responsible for me? What do you mean I'm accountable for me? Yes. Yes, you are. But it's the safest place to be because why? Are you in good hands? You can only answer that question if you know you're in your own hands because you know your intention. But don't let me preach at you. I'm just saying check yourself so that you don't allow social media to drain you. But if you're going to be on it, make it give you life because you're supposed to have life and have it more abundantly, yes? Hmm. Just an observation. So this morning, before we hear the bowl and possible bird song, ah, begin to feel what mental mood you are in. And don't judge it. Just know that I'm in that mood, that's how I'll behave. You know how they tell you don't start nothing and there won't be nothing? That'll tell you your mental mood. Anyhow, let's get the bowl. Go through this weekend and enjoy yourselves. Countdown initiated. 5, 4, 3, 2. Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, fan base. You know I love you. I'll see you tonight for the 5th lesson from the 5-part series. And then on Monday we will do the Q&As, the questions that go along with with those lessons. Thank you all for being here. Much love to you. Hey, King Beauty, you'll have to catch the replay, honey. We just finished. But I'm glad that you're here anyway. All right. I'll see you tonight, 10:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, for the 5th installment of the lessons. I forget which one it is. Anywho, I'll see y'all tonight.